Breaking news, and it's bad news for baseball fans. No labor deal, at least not yet. The owners and players negotiating well into the early morning hours and then resuming this afternoon against a backdrop of a 5 p.m. deadline to get a deal done and avoid delaying opening day. The owners submitted their last best offer, best in quotation marks, of course, as the Players Association would say, 90 minutes before that deadline. That offer was rejected, and now we wait to see when the two sides will resume negotiating and when players might get back on the field. These were some of the points from Major League Baseball's final offer, again, in quotes, final offer. But both sides, you would think, are going to have to give a little something if we are going to get baseball. But this might mean we don't get baseball opening day. This doesn't necessarily mean we won't get baseball still this spring. For more on that, we bring in former Marlins president, World Series champion David Samson. David, why don't we have a deal yet?
Because there's a lot going on here with the owners. Rob Manfred has to get 23 votes out of the 30 owners. And you've got large revenue teams and small revenue teams. As the president of the Marlins, I look at what MLB offered, and I'm hard-pressed to vote yes for that from an owner's standpoint, because minimum salaries going up the way they're going up impacts a small revenue team. The draft lottery is a big deal. Not that we're trying to get the first pick in the draft, not that we're trying to lose 100 games, but sometimes it happens and you want to have access to the best talent. So all of the things that are being talked about, including the luxury tax threshold, there were changes offered by baseball. But as a low revenue team, you want that threshold as low as possible so that teams like the Mets have to pay a huge penalty when they start signing all these players and they're in your division and you feel like you can never win your division because there's such a big salary gap. So there's a lot going on here. The players are not happy, the owners are not happy, but most importantly and rightfully, the fans are not happy.
What about the deadline, David? Is this something that could move once again? And what does it mean as it pertains to opening day? I mean, that's still 4 weeks away. Just because we don't have a deal done right now, I wouldn't think that would mean for sure we're not going to have games in, say, the first month or first week or two of the season. Where is that at right now? What can happen?
Well, I was very interested to hear Will Middlebrooks say that he wouldn't mind a 3-week spring training, because players over my 18 years would like a 3-week spring training or a 1-week spring training. They don't like spring training. The reason we like spring training in management is not just because it's a moneymaker, because it's a pittance. It's not worth it, but because it stops injuries. And there's nothing worse for owners than to have players getting paid not to play. And I think Will would agree, as all players would, that having a short spring training will lead to increased injuries. So I think where we are now is delayed opening day, but there will be an opening day. There may not be 162 games this year, but there will still be a full season. 2020, we had 60 games. People consider the Dodgers a true World Series champion. So we will have a true World Series champion here in October. I believe the real issue is that the fans believe that baseball's postponed, canceled. It's just taking a break.
Yeah, so what happens now? I mean, why aren't the two sides continuing to negotiate into the night and then tomorrow and the next day until we get something done?
Because sometimes these negotiations require error, and they've been going since February 21st, since the last week. They've been going nonstop back and forth, and there needs to be a pause. That's why you saw the players leave Florida. You're going to see the commissioner and Dan Hallam, his deputy, leave Roger Dean Stadium, where we used to have spring training. They're going to go back to New York, and they're going to take a beat. And during that pause, they're going to be speaking with their constituents. The players need to be on the same page. Owners need to be on the same page. And then I would say in about a week, maybe 10 days, you're going to see further conversations that will be leaked and further offers back and forth, because now you also have to negotiate the length of the season and whether or not the players' salaries get prorated. You remember that issue, Chris.
David, what kind of damage has been done to baseball, if any, at this point?
It's very convenient for everyone to say there's so much damage. You're going to see a lot of that on Twitter. It's the end of the world as we know it. This is terrible. No one cares about the fans. You don't realize the permanent damage you're doing. The reality is the way both the players and the owners look at this is that it all gets forgotten the minute you get a deal. And as long as you have a World Series winner and a representative season, then everyone will be okay. So that's really the key here, Chris. Are we going to have a representative season and a World Series winner in 2022? If the answer to that is no, then I take back everything I said and we'll have to do another interview.
David, quickly, just one more thing. Best case scenario right now for both sides is what?
I've been saying this on Nothing Personal for a long time and also with you on the queue. I didn't think this season was going to start before May 1st because I told you after 2020, both sides realized you can have a shortened season and everything will be okay. So we actually haven't hit a real deadline. I think you're going to see a couple weeks off and then you're going to see them back at the table, but I don't think you're going to see baseball before May.
Okay, good insight. David Samson, World Series winner, former president of the Florida and Miami Marlins. David, thank you so much. You can hear him and very timely right now to listen to the Nothing Personal with David Samson podcast. He's going to give you all the insight and his great takes. Whether you agree with him or not, they're always entertaining on Nothing Personal. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.